Let's start. Let's assume the company has provided us with the following details about their single product. We've got sales budget, information for the future quarter, so for the quarter of the next year. We've got also the management policy. The inventory budget states that stock on hand at the beginning of each month should be equal to 70% of the current month sales. Markup on cost is 100%. So let's get started. We'll push this away. I've got a template for purchases budget already. That's what we need to prepare in this question. We can make it a little bit bigger. I hope. That's it. Okay, so purchases budget for April, May, June, and for the quarter. The formula is very simple. We're going to look at the number of units sold, add closing stock. So I'm going to say add closing stock, and that will give us total requirements for the period. If we take away stock that we already have in the shop, that will give us how many units we need to buy. We will further multiply the number of units by the cost per unit, and that will give us the dollar value of purchases for the quarter. So let's get started with the question. First of all, we are not given the sales in units. What we're told instead is that the company is planning to generate $24,000 worth of sales. We also know that per each kilo, the company is planning to charge $8. Therefore, we can calculate the total number of kilogram of whatever it is the company is selling. So instead of writing units, we can actually write kilogram if that makes it a bit easier. So we need to work out the number of kilograms that the company is planning to sell. And we do it by taking 24,000 and dividing it by 8. So that gives us 3,000 budgeted sales in April. We do the same for May, 28 divided by 8. And finally, June, 32,000 divided by 8. Now let's have a look at the quarter. For the quarter, we need to add up April, May, and June planned sales. So basically we're saying 3,000 plus 3.5 plus 4,000. Please note, this is not a demonstration on how to use Excel. Okay, moving on. We are looking at the inventory policy now. It states that stock on hand at the beginning of each month. So we can go and find beginning or opening stock. So opening also means beginning. Okay, so the beginning stock happens to be 70% of the current month sales. So how much do I want to have, or how many kilograms of whatever it is we're selling I want to have in my shop on the 1st of April? 70% of total sales for that month. So I want to make sure I don't run out of stock and customers don't go to my competitors. Basically, the calculation will be April sales, and I'm going to keep 70% in my shop at the beginning of the month. So we're going to do the same for May. 70% of May sales I'd like to have in my shop on the 1st of May. And we're going to do the same for June. So 4,000 times 70% or 0.7, and that gives us the number. Now here is a tricky bit. When we are looking at quarterly sales, we are asking ourselves, what happened during the quarter? Total number of sales for the quarter would be $10,500. But what is the opening stock for the quarter? And the opening stock for the quarter will be the same as the opening stock for April. Let's make it the same color so it's a little bit easier to see. I don't know, maybe purple. Can't really see that. How about that? Okay, so let me repeat this again. Opening stock for April is how many kilogram we have in our shop on the 1st of April. Opening stock for the quarter is exactly the same figure because we are asking ourselves how many kilogram we had in our shop on the 1st of April. Well, let's hope it makes sense. Now we need to figure out closing stock. The easiest way to look at it is by probably looking through the dates. So closing stock for April is what I have on the 30th of April. But 30th of April 5 p.m. should be the same as 9 a.m. on the 1st of May. Now, if you ask yourself, where do we have May stock? And the answer is, it's this figure over here. That's your May stock. So let's insert a little comment here as well. This stock is what we are planning to have on the 1st of May in our shop. Therefore, closing stock for April will be $24.50. Let's do it one more time. What is the date of the closing stock figure for May? The date will be 31st of May. What is the date for opening stock in June? And this will be the 1st of June, which means 31st of May should be the same as 1st of June. Therefore, closing stock for May is $2,800. No, it doesn't want to. That's okay. Well, yeah, that's better. Alrighty, moving on. What about June? Now, June is a little bit more interesting. So we're going to insert a comment here and we're going to say that June stock is the 30th of July and it would be the same as the 1st of sorry, it just takes a little bit of time to make it look pretty. Okay, so I'll put it over here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So we are after stock on the 1st of July. Now, the last column here, column E, is the quarterly column. It has nothing to do with 1st of July. So we need to source this information from somewhere else. To make it easier for us to see it, we're going to have an extra column for July. Okay, we're going back to the question now. We are told that in July, we are planning to generate sales to the value of $26,400 at $8 per kilo. So July sales in kilos will be 26,400 divided by 8. Okay, we can move that away now. It doesn't want to go away. All right, now we go back and calculate opening stock for July. Now remember, opening stock for July is 70% from July's sales as per the policy. So that's how many kilograms I'm trying to sell in July, and I'm going to multiply it by 70%. Okay, so that's the stock we have on the 1st of July, which will be the same as stock for 30th of June. Okay, moving on. Looking at the quarter. For the quarter, the stock on the last day of the quarter will be again 30th of June. So I can put the newly worked out number in that cell. Let's choose a nice pretty color. It's probably my favorite part. It's about choosing the color. Okay, so just one more time. We've got 30th of June. How many kilograms we are planning to have in our shop on the last day of the month of June? 2,310. At the same time, 30th of June, it's not just the end of the month, it's also the end of the quarter. Moving on. Now we just need to fill out the table using the formula. A reminder, the formula is sales, what I'm planning to sell, plus what I would like to have on the last day of the month. That's the figure for my total requirements. So it will be 3,000 plus 2,450. We're going to do the same for May. 3.5 plus 28. And for June, 4,000 plus 2,310. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the quarter. In total, for the quarter, I'm planning to sell 10,500 kilograms of whatever it is, plus how many kilos I would like to have in my shop on the 30th of June. Moving on, we already have opening stock, so we just need to calculate purchases in units. What we're saying is, in April, we don't need to buy 5,450 kilos because we already have 2,100 in opening. So the calculation will be what I want to have, take away what I already have in my shop. I don't need to buy it. So that's how many kilos. So where we have units, we can actually put kilograms. So that's how many kilos I would like to buy for April. Now let's do the same for May. My total requirements are $6,300. I'm going to take away opening stock. And then we're looking at June. Total requirements are 6,310, and we take away opening because we already have it. We don't need to buy it. We continue with the same approach for the quarter. And there we have it. Purchases in kilos for the quarter and broken down per month. In addition, the template would like us to work out the dollar value of all of these purchases, and we can do so by putting the unit cost amount. I'm just going to bring up the question again. Let's have a look what we know. We know that the selling price per kilo is $8. We also know that markup on cost is 100%. So remember we talked about markup is the profit, is what we add on top of the cost of the item in order to generate profit. So basically, we're saying cost plus 100% of cost is the selling price. The selling price in this example is $8. Okay, so I can rewrite it as cost plus 100% of cost is cost, and that equals $8 as well. So basically you're asking yourself a question. What is the cost plus cost to give me $8? In this case, cost is $4. So let's put it in. $4 each month, no change as far as we know. And now we calculate purchases in dollars. We will take kilos and we will multiply it by $4. And that gives us total purchases in dollars for April. It's not the same as cost of goods sold because we're making adjustments for opening and closing stock. We could also use Excel in order to do this, and we can make cell references. The beauty of this approach is that I can copy it all the way across. I have a couple of minutes left to very quickly put together cost of goods sold budget. I already have the formula here. I just would like to remind you that cost of goods sold budget must be done in dollars. And when you do it in dollars, you have to use cost, not the selling price, but cost. So here is what we're going to do. Opening stock in kilos times, actually I'm not going to use Excel, opening stock in kilos times $4 because that's the cost. Okay, now we're going to do the same for purchases. For purchases in dollars we already worked out. Using the formula, we're going to calculate the total. Okay, in fact it's not going to be total requirements, that's going to be total available for use. So it will be opening, what I have, and how much I buy. Then I'm going to take away my closing stock, which happens to be 2,450 units times $4. And finally, I can work out cost of goods sold. And that's the final solution. Please practice now.